And I get that you guys don't understand what the devil or Satan really is because you guys have never seen evil or looked at it in the face. I've done those rituals and I've spoke to the things that you are afraid of. And when you do real occult rituals correctly, these spirits are bound to tell the truth. They can't lie to you. They're not lesser demons. They're not evil jinn. It is completely different. And you know what happens when you do these rituals correctly and you speak to these spirits? They teach you the Quran.
You heard it here, folks.
Wait,
if you talk to demons through occult rituals, they will teach you the Quran.
Wait, so you're saying that this guy has taken his shahada, and he's saying
because
here,
the spirits told him.
he's saying here because he talks to demons and demons told him that Islam is the truth.
You can't make this stuff up. Like this.
What's amazing is that, I mean, I haven't looked at the comments, but I would imagine Muslims going, wow, great point, man. Really making a slam dunk point about how
Yes.
the demons will tell you that Islam is the truth.
Yes, Muslims are congratulating him and saying, "Oh, yes, you're right. This is obviously evidence for us." I'm like, dude, the demons he's talking to through occult rituals are telling him Islam is true, and yet he thinks they can't lie to him because he did an occult ritual. Things that, if are real, were invented by demons. It's like, this is so ridiculous. How could you not, like, look at the hair, kind of the hair on the back of your neck not stand up from hearing that?
Well, it's pretty interesting because Muhammad's first impression of his revelations was that they were demonic. This thing in the cave starts roughing him up, choking him, telling him, read. Like, I can't read. No, shut up and read. I can't read, right? He thinks he's demon possessed. And it's actually his wife and her cousin who talk him out of it and say, no. You're a prophet. He's like, oh, okay. And here you have this guy years later. No, he's right. He's right. Muhammad is right. It was demons were just telling him the truth. That's what demons do. Wow, this is wild stuff.
He posted another video where he said, like, yeah, these spirits, they're actually helping me because I did the right occult ritual. So they have to tell me the truth. And that's why I'm converting to Islam. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, like, how is this not a major problem for Muslims to be hearing this kind of stuff? Either this guy is just a total charlatan, he's making all this up, and he's not actually talking to demons, or if he actually is, how is that not a major red flag? If he's actually talking to demons, and he thinks they can't lie to him because he did demonic occult rituals, how is that not a major red flag? Like, this is why I'm sharing this stuff, because I want everyone to see, look what happens in the occult, guys. What are they pointing to? Is it that little freaky?
No, because I burned 3 strands of horsehair when I was doing my incantation. So I know the demons are telling me the truth now. This guy's sitting there, double, Doyle and trouble, fire, burn, and cauldron, bubble. Tell me, demons, what should I believe? You should believe in Islam. What is this, man?
Why does nobody understand that Jesus was a Muslim? And explain to me, how could Jesus be a Christian? Like, Jesus was never...
You say Jesus was a Christian?
No, we don't.
Yeah, me neither. Anyway.
Like, Jesus was never praying to himself.
Oh my goodness, we never thought of that. It's not like we're Trinitarians and the second person enters into creation and then what's he supposed to be? Is he supposed to be an atheist? Or is he supposed to continue the relationship with the Father that he's had for all eternity? And if he has entered into creation as Jesus of Nazareth, he would do that how? Through prayer.
I see this all the time. They deliberately misunderstand the Trinity as either partialism or modalism, typically. Like, they can never represent it as it actually is. They have to constantly make a caricature as these two heresies, partialism or modalism. I see that constantly. Like, I was just pointing this out recently when someone was trying to say, like, try to use a shampoo bottle as an example, like things can be 3 in 1. I mean, that's partialism. That has nothing to do with what I was talking about. This is just another straw man of what the actual Trinity doctrine is.
Again, this stuff, it's like it's made for people who have no clue what they're talking about. In other words, the audience. And this guy, this guy's obviously, he's just giving his view, but it's a guy who obviously doesn't know anything about Christianity.
No.
Who has obviously never looked up anything with Christian theology. He's just, oh, wait, Christians believe Jesus is God and they believe Jesus prayed? Oh my goodness, that's so dumb. How can he be praying to himself? Ha ha. Yeah, you're the first one to come up with that one. Boy, we're stumped. What's especially hilarious is this guy obviously doesn't know anything about Islam either, because the Quran says that Allah prays, and you find in the Hadith that Allah prays. And there are passages where it explains that when Allah is praying to himself, he's like trying to give himself self-control. Like when he wants to crush everyone, he kind of prays to himself for control and so on. In the Quran, it just says Allah prays. Allah and his angels pray. So you Muslims pray for Muhammad too. And so the question from the Quran is, well, who's he praying to? Is he praying to himself or to someone else? Once you actually take a look at Christian theology, Okay, 3 persons, second person enters into creation and then continues that relationship that he's had for all eternity. You can say it's false. You can say you don't believe it, but you can't say, oh, it makes 0 sense in Christianity for Jesus to be speaking to the Father. It does. It fits. You can reject it and say it's not true, but it fits. In Islam, it just makes no sense. Who in the world is Allah praying to? The other problem here is, notice the alternatives. Jesus is either a Christian or he's a Muslim. He's not a Christian, so he's a Muslim.
It doesn't matter how many times they make it, it's still an etymological fallacy. You're not a Muslim if you just submit to God, because then David and I are Muslims. But they don't want to say we're Muslims because we don't submit to God the way they want. So then they just start committing different logical fallacies to rescue this obviously bad argument.
It's not anyone who submits to God in any way he wants. It's submitting to God in a very particular way. Just read a couple passages here. So from the Quran, Surah 19, verses 88 to 91. And they say, the most beneficent has begotten a son. Certainly you have made an abominable assertion whereby the heavens are almost torn and the earth is split asunder and the mountains fall in ruins, that they ascribe a son to the most beneficent. So if you go through and you've got Surah 17, verse 111, praise be to Allah who begets no son and has no partner in his dominion. Surah 6, verse 101, wonderful originator of the heavens and the earth. How can he have a son when he has no wife? Surah 4, verse 48, Allah forgives not that partners should be set up with him, but he forgives anything else to whom he pleases. To set up partners with Allah is to devise a sin most heinous indeed. The worst possible sin you can commit in Islam is saying that God has a son. According to Islam, is a prophet going to commit the worst possible sin? No, they believe in Allah's protection of the prophets from falling into major error. So when we go to the Bible and we find Jesus over and over again calling himself the Son of God, what does that mean? It means he's not a Muslim. He certainly can't be a Muslim prophet. You can't be repeatedly committing the worst of all sins and be a Muslim prophet who is protected by Allah from committing major sins.
And he claimed to be God.
Yeah.
Very clearly in Mark, in Luke, in Matthew. In Michael Licona showed this. Robert Bowman Jr. has showed this. Ed Komashevsky has shown this. Michael F. Bird's recent book, Jesus Among the Gods, shows this. I mean, it's just clear in all 4 Gospels, Jesus does claim to be God.
And the Son. And so figure that out.
And the Son.
And you end up with something like the Trinity. So Jesus was a Muslim. And I know this because if you really have a good conversation with demons, they'll tell you that Islam is the truth. Demons, they do that. Follow Muhammad. Oh, okay. Thanks. Thanks, demons. What is this mess, man?
This is the greatest gift to Christian apologetics ever. I just cannot believe when I saw this. And then I thought for a split second, let me go to the comments. The Muslims are going to be denouncing him, losing their minds, saying he's wrong. The exact opposite when I went to the comments of his videos. I was like, oh my gosh, they all think he's right. This is insane.
You can't ever trust a single thing a demon says outside of this particular exorcism and the liberation of this particular individual.
You can't trust anything a demon tells you apart from what's being said in this exorcism. But you can't trust anything. You can't trust communication. You can't trust a conversation with a demon. This is very different from what our TikTok friend said.